How we doing? Doing great. Doing great.
What did you think of Jackson Smith-Njigba, his pass on that, the way that all turned out?
We're gonna have to work on his level 2 throws. Left it inside a little bit, but he knew the big guy'd come down with it.
Decision making? Was that
Decision making, yeah, a little bit skeptical there, but 1 for 1.
How long have you been waiting to run that play?
Oh, we've run that for a while. Had the look we wanted and felt good about it. So it's been cooking for a while.
Talk to us about how it's easier to run plays like that, and the playbook opens up when you're playing from the front. How refreshing was that in Atlanta to be able to play with the lead?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the defense played really, really well, and we played a little bit more clean as far as staying out of the sticks and things like that. So anytime you're in that position, I think you always want to be aggressive, whether you're up or down. But at the same time, I think it certainly opens up a few more options.
What did Ken show you playing through illness and having the game he did?
Yeah, a lot of heart. That was a lifetime memory for Ken. Just a really cool moment. Just his birthday and playing through illness. And, I mean, he wasn't like a little sick. He was a lot sick. So just amazing to see what he could do out there. So we tried to get him out there as much as we can, but still take care of him, and that was the thing I thought we did a good job of. Had a good plan going into the game, and just talking to him about managing the reps and getting him out there when we can. And obviously when he was there, he made a huge impact.
Did you have to kind of shift that plan late in the week?
No. Again, Zach, I think can do everything that Ken does. They do it a little bit differently, obviously, but there was nothing in the game plan that I felt like we couldn't do. If Ken was out, it just certainly when he's on the field, when he touches the football, he's electric.
Do you have to do anything differently this week with DK's availability potentially being?
No. We just keep working through it and seeing what we can do. And I know he's working his tail off to get back on the field, and he's looking pretty good.
When you create your offensive game plans, is it for the player? Like, how much do you take a skill set into consideration versus this is what needs to happen against the defense?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think you definitely have to balance that. Find the strength of your players and find out what the dents are in the defense and the things that you can attack, while really maintaining that we're going to still be in our DNA. The things that we do and the things that we want to be good at every single week. So you certainly try to find those balances, but I think highlighting our best players has always been part of this offense.
How much do you enjoy though finding something for everybody?
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. Obviously, you want to get everybody involved, not just because of the buy-in and things like that. I think the guys naturally buy in, but at the same time, I think the complexity for the defense and trying to defend all those guys is what that's the ultimate goal, is that they have to think about each one of these guys individually and how we're going to get them the football.
What did you think of Mike Jarrell at right tackle?
He did a great job. He obviously, had a couple plays with the penalty and the sack, but it was a cool moment. I think I know the whole team rallied behind him. I know in our offensive meeting before we went out on Saturday and walked through, we just talked about Mike getting his first start, and the guys got pretty riled up, and it was just a cool moment, seeing how much everybody supported Mike and the energy that they brought. And, Mike just went out there and played, and that's what he said. When everything goes away and it's NFL, it's this, it's that, you still got to go out there and play, and that's exactly what he did. He did a good job.
All the shifts and motions that you guys like to do, have you been able to do that as much as you want, or is some of that hard to get to like the times you've been in catch-up mode?
Yeah, it's certainly the clock. I mean, in the second half, there's an element of using motions and shifts to, manage the clock as far as keeping the time of possession on our side. So if you are down or losing, it can be a little bit more difficult. You just got to be more efficient when you have the football and trying to get down the field and score as quickly as you can. So that can be a component, but I feel like really it hasn't been, even in the games we lost, we were within one score by the end and had an opportunity where we were in hurry up at the very last possession, but we still were able to utilize most of it.
How well executed was that, the final drive before the half and then the play with 10 seconds left from from Gino to DK?
Yeah, those guys, they operate at a really, really high level in 2 minutes. And, I thought they were really clean. The protection points were great and all those things. So I thought we did a good job of just identifying where the ball had to go, locating the coverage that we needed, and putting the ball where it needed to be. And then obviously DK and Gino hooking up on that last one was perfect.
Did you remind Smith in the headset time and situation, or he's a veteran, you don't need to say?
No, I always, Gino always, like I just talk to him, and remind him, but he certainly is very, very sharp. He always knows the situation, but I'm just there to look out for him. So if I give him anything, it's not because he needs it. It's just that I'm just trying to be right there with him and help him as much as I can. But he is absolutely the consummate pro and super intelligent, and he's just been through it so many times.
That drive got going with a couple completions to Tyler Lockett. We've seen it a few times this year where even if he doesn't have a big game, he'll come through in those type of moments, late third downs, 2 minutes. What about him do you think makes him good in those situations?
Yeah, Tyler is so good at understanding coverage and space and, finding those holes in the coverage. So he's just a savvy player, can understand how to put the route concept together with the coverage and then just apply it and get the easy hit. And him and Gino are on the same page, two veteran guys that know what the concept is and how to attack the coverage. So I think just, a smart, savvy football player.
How do you kind of view the right guard spot right now for you guys with the rotation there with Anthony?
Man, I would love to tell you we had her done, but they both took reps again today. So I think there's been some things that have helped both the guys just as far as being able to play at full level throughout a football game. We still are working to try to complete that, because it does put stress on Connor when he has to work with multiple people. But we're trying to use it and keep guys fresh and, keep those guys in an aggressive mindset. Not that we would want to rotate all the time, but it is allowing both of them to play at a higher level.
What is the stress that it puts on the center?
Well, just combos and doubles, understanding, how one guy fits a double team versus another guy, footwork, and just communication. Those things are, paramount for those guys to have be on the same page.
With 2-minute offenses, some teams like to have a good chunk of the playbook available. Other teams like to streamline it and focus on a smaller number of plays to be really good at those. Where do you guys fall in that spectrum?
Luckily for us, probably in a bigger portion of the playbook, a lot of that has to do with just some of the tempo things that we've been building in our repertoire since all the way back to April. The guys have done a good job of consuming the whole offense and knowing that week to week, those things that are in our tempo menu could be brought up at any time. So even if it's not a primary call, it's something that we've worked for a long time and could apply to a 2-minute situation. So we feel like the system's really allowed us to carry a lot more than probably what some people do.
I can't picture Gino, but do you do the wristband thing in those situations?
During
2 minutes?
no, I mean we just talk on the headset. Yep.
What do you see that Buffalo does well defensively?
They're disciplined. I think they do a really good job of running their scheme. I know that sounds oversimplistic, but they do. They don't get out of position. They know where they need to be. They understand, the sets that you're in and what the weaknesses are that they're up against. And they don't give up explosive plays. They're going to keep the ball in front of them. And I just think they execute what they do at a really, really high level. You just don't see very many busts at all on film. So that's one of the things I think when you see defenses that communicate at a really high level and they're not making busts, that's one of the things, a mark of a really, really, well-tuned defense that communicates at a high level.
Leslie a little bit this week?
Oh, yeah. Leslie's always great, honestly. Every week he's awesome. Just talking about defenses, he can break them down quickly. Obviously, he has a good background with this one.
Ryan Grubb.
So how patient-wise, against a good defense, you have to be patient. So when do you know, okay, we need to get away from this concept we're trying to go against him, it's not going to work? Or when do you say it's getting ready to pop?
Changes every game. You know what I mean? That's something that you just have to feel throughout the football game and understand, all the studying that you've done on film preparation, know, when this is worn out or this coverage is matched you know when to move on. So, and then when to stay stubborn, that something might still be there and you can come back to it. So I think there's a lot of feel and trust in your preparation for that.
And that's in-game as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Noah Fant, what are you seeing with him?
He's doing better. I think last week I commented on Noah and his commitment to get better as a pass blocker and a run blocker, I think, is what's helped superstart some of the things that are going on in his game. He's playing a more physical style of football, and we think he's really starting to utilize all his tools. And Noah's super coachable. I think he still wants to improve his game and prove that he can be out there on any down and distance, and that's what we're continuing to try to run the ball when he's in there, obviously, and do a great job with that.
We saw you in Atlanta talking to Mike Penix before for the game?
Yeah.
How was that experience? And
Oh, it was
what's it
awesome.
like as a pro?
Oh, Mike's awesome. You know, it was cool to see him complete his first pass, and but it was awesome just to catch up with him, see how him and his folks are doing, and yeah, my daughter told me I'd be kicked out of the house if I didn't say hi, so had to make sure I checked that box. But no, it was awesome seeing Mike. He's doing great. Talked to a couple of the coaches with the Falcons, and he's doing awesome. Learning from a really good, quarterback in Kirk, so he's in a great spot.
How's he handling that? Not playing? I mean, a guy who's
Yeah, Mike's awesome that way. He's a student of the game, and he knows where he's at, and he's a team guy. So I think he's soaking it all in, and he'll be ready when the spotlight hits him.
I think a few weeks ago you were talking about wanting to find your bread and butter on offense, like in the run game specifically,
Mhm.
like the thing you guys do well. Have you found that scheme and that style of run that works well for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's still been our zone scheme mixed in with some gap has definitely shown up in the last couple of weeks, and I think that's something that we'll continue to build. But those are the same runs we've been working for a long time.
Why is that the most effective?
The scheme? Oh, I mean, you can handle a lot of different stuff with it, but you still have the gap scheme and the pin pull that are, identifiable to different schemes and fronts that we want to attack. So we like to be wide in our variety and attack it all.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right. You bet. Have a great day.